Hello everyone, welcome back to Run the NBA, and today I wanted to talk about Dejounte Murray. Dejounte Murray is one of the more interesting players for me in the upcoming 2021-22 NBA season, as the San Antonio Spurs have lost three notable players in DeMar Derozan to the Bulls, Rudy Gay to Utah, and Patty Mills to the Brooklyn Nets. And so there is a lot of roles, there are a lot of scoring, and a lot of leadership that needs to be replaced on the San Antonio Spurs team, as it's someone that definitely looks to be a worse team in this upcoming season. But Dejounte Murray is going to be a big part in trying to counteract that, and as he gets into the second year of his 4-year deal, is going to have to try and step up and be one of those guys, be one of the leaders on this team alongside Derek White, alongside Keldon Johnson, and try and carry the weight for the San Antonio team, and essentially be one of the guys that makes this San Antonio Spurs team a bit of a competitive roster. And if they're going to be a team that isn't at the bottom of the league, then Dejounte Murray is going to have to be a part of it. So in this video, I wanted to talk about what I think Dejounte Murray can do for the San Antonio Spurs next year, what my expectations are for him, how successful he can be, and the fact that he's still only 25. There's definitely some room for growth for Dejounte Murray, someone who definitely improved a lot last year, and how I feel he is going to improve for this upcoming season on a Spurs team that definitely needs him to continue his improvement. That being said, if you do go on to enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. With that being said, let's talk about Dejounte Murray. Of course, last year was Dejounte Murray's second season back from that ACL injury that took him out of the league for year 3, and he came back year 4. Had a decent year, but there wasn't a ton of improvement from year 2 other than his three-point shooting. And last year he took on a bigger role, was much more of an impact in the offense, was a much more shot creator, making his own shot, pull-up shots, was just a lot more involved on the offensive end as opposed to just being the point guard and the primary playmaker. But DeMar Derozan also took over some of the playmaking roles over the last couple of years, while Dejounte Murray still did some of that. So that's the first part that we're going to talk about for Dejounte Murray, is the fact that he's going to have to improve his playmaking skills. And I don't even think it's so much of an improvement as it is just he's going to have to become more of a playmaker again, because ultimately DeMar Derozan really improved his playmaking over the last couple of years and became the primary ball handler and playmaker for the San Antonio Spurs. And that all now falls back onto Dejounte Murray from a scoring standpoint partially, and from a playmaking standpoint pretty much entirely. And so I would expect Dejounte Murray's assist numbers to definitely jump this year. He's going to have the ball a lot more in his hands, he's going to be playmaking a lot more. This is someone I expect to be a 7+ assist per game guy, because I think he has solid playmaking skills, he has solid dribble, he can beat guys off the dribble and create space, create attention on himself to dish it off for others. So I would expect Dejounte Murray to become a much improved, much more involved playmaker as well this year, and someone who you can see putting up 7+ dimes a night. One of the biggest areas you want to see improvement from Dejounte Murray this year is his three-point shooting. Of course, year 3, when he came back from his ACL injury, he did improve his three-point shooting. It looked like he may have finally figured that out a bit more. Shot around 37% from deep. But last year, it did not look like that. His attempts went up, but his efficiency certainly did not. It dropped below his rookie and third-year numbers. And that's the biggest part for him to figure out still offensively. His mid-range efficiency isn't amazing, but I liked what I saw from him last year in mid-range. He looked a lot more comfortable shooting to mid-range, shooting pull-ups when he beats guys off the dribble in the perimeter, and I think that's definitely something he'll continue to work on for this upcoming year and be a lot more efficient at, something I think that will become a bit more of an impactful part of his game. And of course, at 6'4", he does need to still put on a little bit of weight and strength as far as I'm concerned. But once he can do that, he's going to be a very good finisher at the rim. He already is an okay one, but I think he still has room to improve there. But the three-point shooting is the biggest concern. That is something he needs to be working on this summer. If he can get himself to be a 36% three-point shooter, then he's going to be in a great spot. I think that's the biggest thing for him that he needs to work on this upcoming year. I don't know if he's going to get there. I've never really seen the signs from him that he's going to be a great three-point shooter, but he also looked like he was going to be decent from mid-range last year, so if he can extend that a little bit, there's hope that he can become a good three-point shooter, and that's something that the San Antonio Spurs really need for him this upcoming year. I don't think it's going to be a straight linear jump from last year to this year where he becomes that great three-point shooter. I think over the next couple of years, that's something we'll see him improve on, and I think he'll get to that point where he can be not an amazing three-point shooter, but at least a respectable one. And the biggest thing for Dejounte Murray, and has always been the best part of his game, is the fact that he is a solid perimeter defender. At 6'4", the point guard spot, he has great length. He has great ability as far as mobility goes. He can get in the passing lanes or just pick players for steals. This is the reason why he's averaged well over 1.5 steals per game, or at least 1.5 steals per game over the last couple of years. And he made an all-defensive team in 2017-2018. Note, was his second year in the league. He is a good defensive player. Point blank, period. And he's going to have to continue to do that for the San Antonio Spurs this upcoming year. They haven't necessarily lost a lot of defense, which is a positive, because DeMar Derozan was definitely not a positive on defense. Rudy Gay isn't amazing on defense at this point in time in his career, and Patty Mills was A, but of course he's not an amazing defender either. But Dejounte Murray is definitely going to be that lead defensive guard for them this upcoming year. He's going to have to continue to do his thing on the defensive end while picking up more of the load on the offensive end, which you would think is going to be seamless as far as continuing the defense. But it's not always easy to continue the same level of effort on the defensive end when you have to expend that much more effort on the offensive end. He's going to be pretty much exclusively the ball handler on this team. He's going to be the playmaker, and he very well may be the leading scorer. He has a lot of shoes to fill and a lot of tasks to fill for the San Antonio Spurs team this year, and there's probably going to be some growing pains. And starting off the year, it might be a struggle for him because he is going to have a lot of pressure on him, and a lot more than he probably ideally should on most NBA teams. But nonetheless, he is getting put in a scenario where if he wants to be in this role, if he wants to embrace it, if he wants to put in the work, Dejounte Murray's in a role where he can really grow and blossom and get the touches and be the man and develop into a pretty darn good NBA player. Now, I don't think it's going to be a seamless thing where Dejounte Murray enters next year and he is all of a sudden this great player. But I think over the next year or two, in this more significant role, in this more valuable and impactful role, or at least potential impactful role for Dejounte Murray, we are going to see a lot of improvement from him. We are going to see him increase his offense, improve his three-point shooting, improve his mid-range, add a little bit more strength, become a better perimeter defender, post defender on switches, and finisher at the rim. I don't think Dejounte Murray is ever going to be an all-star caliber guy, but I think Dejounte Murray can improve as a three-point shooter, can be someone who averages 7-8 assists a night at 18-ish points a night while being an elite guard defender. Now, ideally, is Dejounte Murray your number one option? No, obviously not. Dejounte Murray is no team's ideal number one option. That's why the San Antonio Spurs are projected to be one of the worst teams in the league next year. That being said, if Dejounte Murray can be a third, fourth option on your team, can be a solid playmaking point guard by giving you good defense and giving you respectable three-point shooting, Dejounte Murray definitely has a very, very valuable place in this league. I think he has a bright future, and I'm interested to see how he plays for the San Antonio Spurs team next year, and excited to see his improvement over the next couple of years as he continues to fulfill all the potential that he's had around him in the NBA and start to realize that potential a little bit more in this bigger role. That being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about Dejounte Murray for next season, how you think he could fare with the San Antonio Spurs in this bigger role, the loss of their three veterans. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you want to hear my thoughts on other young players or rookies coming into next season, then be sure to click the box on the right hand side of the screen. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.